David Digby joins Circle of Friends today from Perth, Western Australia. I've asked David to join the circle for a number of reasons, but the main reason that David caught my attention is because he is a man who walks his talk. David has recently returned from Zimbabwe, where he volunteered with the International Anti-Poaching Foundation. David, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Amy, for having me.
My pleasure. Now, my understanding is that you watched a 60 Minutes episode about the Anti-Poaching Foundation, and that pretty much transformed your life. You actually took action and joined the organization, and you've recently just returned from Zimbabwe. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, it is. It definitely was a life-changing experience. I saw the program, and I've always been fascinated by the mighty beast over there and just animals in general. But after seeing the program with Damien Manda, it certainly attracted my attention, and I made some contacts through the website, and away I went.
Beautiful. Now, do you want to tell us a little bit about the International Anti-Poaching Foundation?
Okay, well, it was founded by Damien Manda, who is an Aussie bloke, and his background is basically a Navy SEAL clearance diver, and then a commando with the military, and 3 years in Iraq, training soldiers and what have you over there. So he's a man who who's definitely an action man, and likes to make a difference. And since he's left there, and I believe he started this around 2009, 2008 maybe. So yeah, so once I saw that, I just thought, I've got to get involved. It shook me to the core.
Ah, beautiful. And so the process was you basically you followed the steps on the website and you landed in Victoria Falls. Is that correct? Is it that simple?
No, not quite that simple. It took some time. I think it was probably around 6 months or more before I actually got over to Africa, because it does take a little bit of organising. But once I got onto the IAPF website and made contact with Damien and his crew, I just started to get all the information that I needed, and the process, and just also helping here also, you know, you can do fundraisers and things like that. But I just kept informed on what was going on over there, and the just ruthless slaughter of the animals, the black rhino in particular, which is in great danger at the moment. So I, over that 6 months, you know, obviously getting organised, and shops here and tablets here for different trips to places like Africa that you've got to do. So I got myself my ticket booked, and I headed on over.
Amazing. And can you describe what a day would entail when you were volunteering over there?
What happens is you've got a choice of things that people can use their own skills, whatever they may be, and you do get to go on a lot of patrols with the rangers, and that's, you're just walking amongst the wildlife throughout the patrol, you know, walking past your zebras and your elephants and water bucks and kudus and etc. And yeah, there's a massive lake dam there, which has approximately about 16 hippos and crocs in there. So obviously it's not where you go having a swim when you're getting hot. But they're doing a lot of building there at the moment to help facilitate the ranger training that's going on. And I was fortunate while I was there that graduation was just coming about at the end of their training. So which was about 16 rangers. Eventually they will be able to cope up to 140, which is the plan. And the building's going on as we speak, and while I was over there. So you can do everything from administration through to getting your feet on the ground or just helping with the building. There's so many things you can get involved with.
And what was the highlight of your trip?
Highlight was definitely being in close encounter with the black rhino. It's most people may know is the aggressive one, as they say. Fortunately, I didn't I didn't witness that. The white rhinos are the bigger rhinos, and they're a lot more passive. And the black rhinos do have a lot more aggressive streak, even though they're slightly smaller. But if you want to call 2.5 tonne slightly smaller, then it's fine. But with people, I mean, you can generally tell just by there's a different hump and slight different shape between the white and the black. And the black rhinos have the babies, their calves follow from behind, and the white rhinos' calves lead the way. So that's another interesting way of finding out what they are.
And I've heard you speak previously. Now, rhinos are still being killed in Africa. You've given me a number before. How many were killed last year?
There was well over 300 killed in 2010, and it just getting slaughtered in immense numbers. That's why they've got the breeding program going on this particular private range at the 6,000 hectares in Big Falls, and the locals are so forward. You know, they don't want this happening. This is a Asian produced market, mafia, which is the third largest criminal industry in the world now, which is just absolutely devastating. How they go about doing this, but yeah, the numbers are increasing immense. I mean, apparently, from my figures, there's only about 2,500 rhinos left, and there's as opposed to only 10 years ago, you know, you had your 6,000 or 7,000, and they're just dropping year by year. So we don't have a choice. I mean, the changes have to happen now, and not tomorrow. And I know that sounds a bit cliche, but it's an absolute fact. If they've already got certain types of rhinos that are now extinct. They no longer exist. So this has to stop now, and for the kids to be able to see these and experience these magnificent animals in the future.
Unbelievable. And you mentioned that it's crime organizations. Why are they poaching? Why are they killing these rhinos?
For no good reason. Is basically what it boils down to. They believe that it's got medical qualities, whether it be for, you know, curing cancer, the mild flu, through to guys who are using it for a Viagra type of rubbish, and it's been proven over and over again scientifically, medically, that it's not true. It's an absolute rubbish, and it's going to take education and time to get this through to people. That's not the case, and it's serving no purpose. The only thing a rhino horn is good for is when it's on a rhino, and that's the facts.
And they've been taking steps to actually humanely remove the horns in order to protect the rhinos. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is it's a step that's been taken. It's definitely not the answer, the long-term answer. It's a short-term answer. They're obviously having to drug the rhinos out, which is also a risk in itself under any sort of anaesthetic. You've got your wrist, but they literally get chainsawed the rhino's horns off, which is of no pain to them whatsoever. It's like clipping your nails for you and me, and cutting your hair. Because it's the rhino horn's basically made of the same material as our nails. So they're dehorning them. They do grow back, but that's pretty much what distinguishes the rhino. You know, the horn, and to see them without it it's almost like a naked type of thing. But I'd rather see a dehorned rhino than a dead one.
And when the poachers remove the horns, they actually, it's horrific how they leave the animals, isn't it?
It is devastating, and it's heart-wrenching how they go about it in several different ways. Everything from purely just shooting them down. They're not necessarily dead at the time when they're hacking the face off for the horn. And they'll do things like if they just see the baby calf, they'll shoot the calf because they know the mother is not far away and will come back and mourn over the calf, and they take advantage of that and exploit it. They drug them out with there's drugs they're using called M99, which is a tranquilizer, very very potent tranquilizer, which a drop of it would kill a human being. So they've got also, and unfortunately they're more equipped than the rangers and the people trying to fight this at the moment. They're equipped with everything. They're getting helicopters now and infrared, AK-47 guns, as opposed to the rangers really just having shotguns and what have you. But that is improving for the rangers, and the police and the government are now getting a lot more involved, and they're all joining together, which is a great thing to see. It's slow, but it's happening. But yeah, they do it in an horrific manner, and they don't care whether it be snares that they leave in the bush, like barbed wire snares. Yeah. They get their feet caught in them, and they obviously, like any animal, they struggle, and eventually they just have to keel over and wait to die, or the poachers turn up to check their snares. Even to the point like the hippos. I mean, this is explicit and it's raw, but it's a fact of life. And this is exactly what's happening. Is they'll find out where the hippos come in on shore and put boards down with big nails in them, and they just step on them, and they get caught. I mean, and it's absolutely. I don't how. As a human being, I don't know how another human being can do that type of thing, but they do it, and there's evil in the world, and money drives that evil.
Absolutely. And in your opinion, will the poaching ever stop? In a fantasy world, yes. But for the real world, no. I don't think it will ever stop. I think that it may lead down the line of eventually making it like a shearing sheep, and they will just breed them and take the horns off in a more humane way, so that the rhino's not injured or hurt. But I don't know the answer, and I wish I did. Or education is definitely is the main key. Is where Damien's heading with education and showing people what's going on and what can change things, and even changing the mindset of people just to go, look, this doesn't need to be happening. It needs to stop. If you want these rhinos here in the future, and by the calculations at the moment, by 2030, we're not going to have any rhinos left. Unbelievable. And now you've told us how the poachers treat the animals. When a poacher is caught, what's their punishment? Okay,
well, in most parts of Africa, there is a shoot on site for poachers, so
I wasn't expecting
they can be legally shot. And right there, now Damien doesn't like to play that game. Being with the experience that he is approaching it with a more capture, and his rangers now are trained to such a high quality as opposed to what they were, that they're now able to take control of the situation and capture the poachers without a shootout going on. So that because he can do the tracking now and actually track hunt the poachers, so to speak, instead of the other way around. But it's still a very dangerous game, and if force comes to force, they have to do what they've got to do. But they've recently caught, 12 months ago, 5 poachers who are in the process of the court case at the moment, and they were all captured without any injury to anyone.
Ah, beautiful. Amazing. Now, you've mentioned Damien a few times in the interview, and I've listened to a 60-minute interview, and he has such a presence about him, and it's like this is his calling. It's a gift that he's giving the world. Do you find that when you're in his space?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. He's a man who definitely who it does attract your attention, and and generally when he talks, he's saying something worthwhile, you know, and he's worth listening to. I was so fortunate to meet him on the first day. He picked me up in Vic Falls, and so it was a great experience to sort of that to be my sort of first meeting, and then taken off to the national park and able to have a good chat with him, and he was just very appreciative of myself and all the volunteers that were coming over and everyone that's helping, because he's got so many people involved, everything from, you know, the vets through to lawyers and solicitors and teachers and etc. But certainly when you're in his presence or you're just watching him on the video, you pay attention, don't you?
Absolutely. And his website's pretty clear for anyone who is listening to this interview if they're interested in participating. There's great tips on there. But what's the website address again?
It's www.iaps.org, and that's got all your answers are on there. You know, through to the poaching, the work they're doing, the education, training, the conservation, everything that's going on with it, how you can volunteer, how you can donate, and everything you need to know about sort of getting involved with them. It's got all the answers there. So I'm cheating a little bit because I'm actually watching that, just reading that a little bit off the website as I look at it. But there's everything that anyone wants to know about is definitely on there, and they can contact all the appropriate crew.
Beautiful. And David, will you go back?
I would be back yesterday if I could. It was unbelievable. I was very fortunate that my wife gave me the 2 weeks to get away and experience. And I think everyone knew more so than me of the most amazing experience I was going to have, where I was a little bit reluctant, wasn't quite sure what I was getting myself involved in. But everyone was right on the ball with the experience that I was going to have, and I had a good friend lady who had been over in Africa, and she just knew I was going to have the most amazing time, because I said just jokingly to her, I said I've got 2 weeks over there, I should be able to save everything in that 2 weeks, you know, in a very jokingly manner, and she just looked at me and said, I think Africa might save you, David.
That's beautiful. I really like
that.
Yeah,
and she was right. It's certainly a country like I've never been to before.
And I like to ask, probably 90% of the people I interview, I ask this question to, so I'll throw it out to you. It doesn't have to be about your trip, but what's been your biggest inspiration in your life?
It's a tough question. Not quite sure how to answer it. My main inspiration's always been music, and I'm inspired just by people who do good things in life, whether it be with the animals or just humanity in general, and just reading about people, I think, inspires me mostly. And my great 28 years with my lovely wife is sort of inspirational. There's always something there to get hold of and sort of learn from. But I learned from I've got so many inspirations, whether it be just the people that I look up to, whether it be in the music industry or whether it just be for people that are like Damien Mander, who's doing what he's doing.
Beautiful. And I just wanted to add that I know you're going on and you're going to be doing speaking, and this is really in your blood now that there'll be more from you on this topic. But you've got a few YouTube videos of your trip, and I've seen photos, and you are an absolute inspiration. You know, from not knowing anything about it, you've jumped right in, and you're out there telling the world about it, and doing such great work. So it's been such a pleasure to hear about your experience, and thank you for sharing it with the world, and sending the message out there.
Thank you, Amy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to just doing some talks with schools over here, and I'm getting involved with people at the zoo, and I'm just trying to educate myself as much as possible now for those questions, especially with the children. You know, they if anyone's going to come up with a windy question, it's the kids. So I think I'm just going to sit down and keep educating myself, and I keep in contact with the guys over there in Africa all the time, and hopefully we can all make a difference and just sort of show people what's really going on over there, and see what we can do about it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for everything you do.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you very much for having me again.
No worries.